Hi there, this is Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Noops, these cute little Noops. So my favorite method is actually to use a crochet hook. This happens to be one of my favorite sizes of crochet hook. I use it for both baubles and Noops. Let's see if I can get this to focus. There we go. So it's a size E, a 3.5. I use it for everything from DK to fingering weight. I just find it's a pretty versatile size for this. But you can use even a repair hook I've used. So first I'm going to show you how to do it knitwise, and then I'll show it to you with the crochet hook. So you can try whatever works best for you. There is no right or wrong. I think the crochet hook makes it a lot easier, and I'll show you why. So to knit a Noop, basically what we're going to do is we are going to work in and out of one stitch multiple times with yarn overs to create all those extra strands, and then just work them back together real quick. So I am going to knit a stitch but not drop it off. I'm going to yarn over, and you want to try and keep this loose because if it gets too tight it's going to be really hard to work all these back together. So with that yarn over in front, I'm now going to knit back into the same stitch, yarn over by bringing my yarn in front, knit, and we're going to do that one last time. Our goal is to have 7 strands coming out of this stitch, yarn over, knit one last time. Okay, so now what I have to do is I am going to have to stick this needle back through all 7 strands, and you can do more or less strands, depends on how big of a Noop you want. 7 I find is generally my sweet spot. They're nice and perky without being too big or too small. All right, so I've got my left hand needle back in. I'm gonna wrap my yarn around my right hand needle and knit it through. There we go. Now I have noticed my Noops always want to push to the other side, so I always work them on the wrong side of my work so that when I turn around they'll be hanging out on the front of my work. I'm going to show the knit style one more time continental since I held my working yarn in my right hand last time. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my left because depending on if you carry your yarn in your right or your left hand does make a difference with how we yarn over. So I just want to make sure it's clear. So again, I'm knitting into this first stitch, but not dropping anything off. Yarn over, knit, yarn over, knit, yarn over, knit. There we go. Now sometimes I find it easier when trying to get these all knit together to actually, even when I am knitting continental, to switch it to my right hand, but you can do what feels the most intuitive for you. It's just a lot of strands of yarn to try to bring together, and sometimes I have a better grip coming from my right. See, it has a tendency to want to fall off when I hold it over here, so whatever works best for you. And this is why I prefer crochet hook, because that was a little challenging. I did split my yarn, but that's okay. I can simply unsplit it and pull it off. All right, so there's my second Noop. So let's try crochet style. Get a couple stitches knit here. So I'm going to be working into this next stitch. Now, if you're using a slippery metal needle with slippery yarn, sometimes I like to just pull my tip through because it might want to fall out because we're just going to be working at this point with the crochet hook and our needle. Alrighty. So regardless of if you typically carry your working yarn over your right hand or left, you will want it over on the left hand for this part for using your crochet hook. So I am going to insert my crochet hook and grab the yarn for one stitch, not dropping anything off. I'm going to yarn over onto the hook, again leaving it nice and loose. And then I'm going to grab another stitch, yarn over, stitch, one last time, yarn over, insert my hook, grab the yarn, And again, I have 7 strands here. So now what I can do is just grab the working yarn with my hook. And I, at this point, actually like to pinch the bottom of my stitches here with my middle finger and my thumb and pull. And I find that that helps open it up so that I can slide my crochet hook right through. Pretty easy, right? Not too bad? So there we go. Now I've just removed my crochet hook because I need to get that stitch back over onto my working needle. So I'm just inserting my right hand needle into that new stitch. And there we go. We have 3 cute little noops. You can see that they don't look any different. So whatever style you prefer, maybe you don't own crochet hooks, but I do really love them for bubbles and noops. So I'm gonna just show it one last time with the crochet hook, just in case you need to see it again. Knit a couple stitches. I do like to give an extra tug on the stitch after the Noop, just so there's not any gaps. All right, pull that through a little. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook into the first stitch on my left hand needle, grab the working yarn and pull it through, yarn over onto the hook, insert it back into the stitch, pull another loop through, yarn over, another stitch, yarn over, one last stitch. There we go. 7 strands back on. I'm going to grab my working yarn with my hook and pull it through. And at first, a lot of times when we're learning something new, we do tend to be a little tight. So if you're battling it, you can kind of wiggle your hook and get it through a strand at a time, but it'll get easier as you practice. Just remember not to, especially the yarn overs, to try and keep those a little on the looser side so you can get either your knitting needle or your hook through them. And that's it. Let me just knit to the end of this row so we can turn it around and you can take a little peek at our cute little perky noops. There they are, so cute. I hope you try some noops. Happy knitting.